Breaking news from around your world on this Thursday, February 21st, 2019. I'm Larry Rice. Federal authorities say a Coast Guard officer who espoused white supremacist views and dreamed of mass murder drew up a computer spreadsheet hit list of Democratic politicians and TV journalists. Lieutenant Christopher Paul Hasson, who worked at Coast Guard headquarters in Washington as an acquisitions officer on a program to equip the agency with advanced new cutters, will appear in federal court Thursday facing gun and drug offenses. But prosecutors say those charges are just the tip of the iceberg. The 49-year-old Hasson was arrested last week, and prosecutors said Hasson wanted to murder innocent civilians on a scale rarely seen in this country. Investigators discovered 15 guns and 1,000 rounds of ammunition in his Maryland home. Prosecutors called Hasson a domestic terrorist with extremist views who read neo-fascist and neo-Nazi literature online. He allegedly compiled a list of politicians, journalists, and other leaders to target, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and MSNBC and CNN journalists. Pope Francis opened a landmark sex abuse prevention summit Thursday by offering senior Catholic leaders 21 proposals to punish predators and keep children safe, warning that the faithful are demanding concrete action and not just words. The tones for the high-stakes four-day summit was set at the start, with victims from 5 continents, Europe, Africa, Asia, South America, and North America, telling the bishops of the trauma of their abuse and the additional pain the church's indifference caused them. Listen to the cry of the young who want justice, Francis told the gathering of 190 leaders of bishops' conferences and religious orders. Catholic Church officials called the four-day meeting as part of an effort to get bishops across the world to intensify efforts to curb abuse instead of trying to keep allegations silent. The summit is meant as a tutorial for church leaders around the globe to learn the importance of preventing sex abuse in their churches, tending to victims, and investigating the crimes when they occur. The Vatican isn't expecting any miracles or even a final document to come out of the summit, but organizers say it marks a turning point in the way the Catholic Church has dealt with the problem, with the Pope's own acknowledgement of his mistakes in handling the Chile abuse case a key point of departure. The Chicago Police Department charged Empire actor Jussie Smollett with filing a false police report when he said last month he was the victim of an alleged assault. Prosecutors filed a felony disorderly conduct charge against Smollett, which could result in 1 to 3 years in prison if he's convicted. Smollett could also be forced to pay for the investigation into his police report. Smollett told police last month that 2 masked men attacked him in Chicago, shouting racial and homophobic slurs, pouring a chemical on him, and wrapping a rope around his neck. 2 brothers, once considered suspects, told police Smollett paid them to pretend to assault him. Police say Smollett turned himself in on Thursday. Attorney General William Barr will announce the completion of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian election meddling and possible collusion by President Donald Trump's associates as early as next week, according to a CNN report citing people familiar with the matter. Barr reportedly plans to promptly submit a summary of the confidential report to Congress. The timing could change to avoid interfering with White House diplomatic efforts as Trump prepares for his second summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The report was the latest in a series of hints that Mueller's nearly 2-year investigation is wrapping up. It is not clear yet how much of that report will be made public. House Democrats plan to file a resolution Friday seeking to block President Trump's declaration of a national emergency on the U.S.-Mexico border, part of his effort to free up new sources of funding for his promised border wall. The Democrats' proposal likely would set up a House vote by mid-March or even as soon as next week. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told colleagues in a letter that the House would move swiftly to pass it and send it to the Senate, although Congress appeared unlikely to have the 2/3 majorities in each chamber necessary to override a Trump veto. Moderate Senator Susan Collins of Maine on Wednesday became the first Republican to publicly back the effort. A winter storm that hit much of the United States forced airlines to cancel more than 1,300 flights due to snow, sleet, and heavy rain. American Airlines alone grounded 700 flights on Wednesday, most on smaller aircraft. More than 800 flights in and out of the three main airports serving Washington, D.C. were canceled as the nation's capital was forecast to get up to 6 inches of snow throughout the day. Fewer flights were affected in New York City, which saw less snow. The massive storm hampered travel and commutes for as many as 200 million people in 39 states in the South, Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, and southern New England. Even Las Vegas, Nevada reported snow falling in the city, and it forced some airlines to cancel a number of flights in and out of Las Vegas. The United States and China resumed high-level talks Thursday aimed at easing a trade standoff that has unnerved global investors and clouded the outlook for the world's economy. The world's two biggest economies are locked in a trade war that President Trump started over allegations that China deploys predatory tactics to try and overtake U.S. technological dominance. Beijing's unfair tactics, trade analysts agree, include pressuring American companies to hand over trade secrets and, in some cases, stealing them outright. To try to force China to change its ways, Trump has imposed tariffs on hundreds of billions in Chinese goods. Beijing has retaliated with tariffs of its own. China rejects the allegations and complains that Washington's goal is simply to cripple a rising economic competitor. The Trump administration has warned it will escalate its import taxes on $200 billion in Chinese goods from 10% to 25% if the two sides haven't reached a resolution by March 2nd. But Trump in recent days has signaled a willingness to extend the deadline if negotiators are making progress. The International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development have all downgraded their forecasts for the global economy, citing the heightened trade tensions. Samsung on Wednesday revealed its long-anticipated smartphone with a foldable screen, hoping to give the smartphone market a badly needed jolt of innovation. It was not immediately clear whether the device would grab customers, particularly considering its price of $1,980. The Galaxy Fold, which will be released April 26th, can serve like a traditional smartphone with a 4.6-inch screen, or unfold like a wallet and become a mini tablet with a 7.3-inch screen. In that mode, it can run 3 apps on the screen at one time. The device also has 6 cameras. DJ Ko, who oversees Samsung's smartphone division, said, "Get ready for the dawn of a new era." Peter Tork, known as the goofy member of the Monkees, the wisecracking made-for-TV pop group that imitated and briefly outsold the Beatles, died Thursday. He was 77. Tork was diagnosed with adenoid cystic carcinoma, a rare cancer affecting his tongue, in 2009. Tork mostly played bass and keyboard for the Monkees. At age 24, he was also the band's oldest member when the Monkees premiered on NBC in 1966. The band featured Tork alongside Michael Nesmith, a singer-songwriter who played guitar, and former child actors Mickey Dolenz and Davy Jones, who played the drums and sang lead, respectively. Jones died in 2012. The Monkees ran for only 2 seasons, but won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Comedy, and spawned a frenzy of merchandising, record sales, and world tours that became known as Monkey Mania. In 1967, according to one report in the Washington Post, the Monkees sold 35 million albums, twice as many as the Beatles and Rolling Stones combined, on the strength of such songs as Daydream Believer, I'm a Believer, and Last Train to Clarksville, which all rose to number 1 on the Billboard record chart. Tork left the group after its huge success in the late 1960s and tried to make it on his own as a solo artist, but returned to the Monkees in the mid-'80s for major reunion tours. And that's your update for this Thursday, February 21st, 2019. I'm Larry Rice. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.